피가 범람.
화점에 두지.
망설임 없이.
벌써요? 매뉴얼을 좀 더...
관역이 생겼나요?
드디어 내 차례냐?
현장 지휘자가 필요한가?
복지팀의 협...
제 차례인가요?
잠시! 이것만 삼키고!
Hodgepodge team. Sure.
우치오컷이
Meanwhile, Heathcliff's team. Bloody hell. What's up with these gits? They're showing up out of nowhere. How should I know? But judging by their get-up, they seem like escort fellas. And things were going so well. We could have talked out with those Fedora guys who were rummaging around the place earlier, you know. But no, you just had to go barking at them first. Would have saved us a whole lot of trouble if you hadn't, right? Oh, so it's my fault. Those bastards looked like they were nicking stuff. This is our contract area, ain't it? If they walked off with something important, we'd be the ones catching hell. Listen, bud. Not everyone's itching to swipe hair coupons into their pockets the second they get a chance. Oh, for how many bloody months are you lot gonna milk that? Excuse me. What? You got a problem too, mate? Ahaha. No. Not at all. Just wondering whether that gentleman over there is also one of our enemies. Is that the end of your troop performance? Shame. I was really enjoying watching you folks dance. Might have mistaken this place for the Peach Blossom Land of Legends, had there been a couple of fine Magali to go with it. Magali? It's an enemy, alright. He has a name tag, though. I think it says, LCD. LCD, whatever. Who gives a toss? Am I supposed to put up with every bastard having a dig at me? Oh dear. Such bold swings. Didn't know there was such an encore for that performance. You slippery little rat. Well, I do find this amusing enough. But if you intend to play with me, you ought to be more aware of your surroundings. Hey! Behind you! There's... Gasp. Wow. He took out all those doppel-wearing people with just a single strike? hate to say that about covers the price of admittance for your cheap circus, wouldn't you? Well done. I leave the rest to you folks. Wandering blades in Murrum. Tales never lingered on the stage for long, after all. Oi! Where the hell do you think you're going? Oh, damn it.
그
Fuck.
하지만 그래봤자
Alright. Could just not. You know, why don't I just not? I don't need to.
엄마는 무기라면 뭐든 잘 다뤘어. 그중 제일 뛰어난 게 검이었고.
세피라 중 최고의 전투부서 징계팀이 나설 시간이야. 환상체라고 불러야 하는 그 괴물들에게 본때를 보여주자고.
Gross.
무타법을 이제야 좀 이해했고.
상체는 피해를 받을 뿐 소멸하지 않아. 죽지도 않을 목숨 최대한 고통스럽게 만들어 보자고.
매뉴얼을 만들어두길 잘했네. 그렇게만 해.
목이 비었잖아.
징계팀 직원이라면 당연한 판단이긴 해.
아,
잘했다는 칭찬은 생략하는 게
예?
좋겠지.
Encore. Ah. That makes sense.
재밌네. 난 너희가 좀 더 어설플 거라고 생각했거든.
상황이 끝나면 티페리트에게 방금 상황 녹화되어 있냐고 물어봐. 이 정도면 엔젤라님에게도 증명할 수 있을 거야. 이 일에 토끼 따위의 협력은 필요하지 않다는 거.
엘리트 오페레이터の腕前です
자, 다음 놈 나와.
어릴 땐 몰랐어. 왜 엄마가 삼촌들이랑 말도 못 섞게 했는지. 그 외부 강사들 손가락 안에서도 내로라 하는 실력자들이었을 거야. 너희가 보여준 혹은 더 대단한 기술을 매번 엄마에게 가르쳐줬거든.
Oh yeah, he's dead. Oh.
조금 무르긴 했지만 제압은 성공적이었어. 뭐 별건 아니었지. 안 그래?
이제 신 수에선 벗어났나?
새삼스럽지만 꽤 괜찮네. 제법이야.
There you go.
Limbus Company の皆さん、この勢いに乗って勝ちに行きましょう。
Death.
구, 언, 올.
So let me get this straight. Dude was just here a minute ago, and now nobody knows where he wandered off to. Yeah, bloke just turned up out of nowhere. flapped his gums and then did a runner before anyone could grab him. Ezra let out a long, listless sigh as though she was getting sick and tired of even complaining about Kim. Lady Ezra, I cannot say your frustration is misplaced, yet I trust you are also aware that more often than not, Mentor's actions have carried a profound design. He has never left his post without purpose so far. Now, I get it, okay, but come on. Would it kill him to give us a heads up before he goes zooming off on his own again? It's not like we'd stop him. What are we gonna do? Tie him up? Lock him in a closet? We don't do that in our team, right? Remember last time? We all thought he was being a good patient and sleeping it off in the recovery ward, but nope. When the LCE got infiltrated, he snuck out without telling anyone and came back like it was like nothing happened. The team leader didn't even chew him out for that. Lady Ezra, that's... Oopsies. Wasn't supposed to mention that, was I? Then the reason he failed to participate in the operation was simply because the LCD was lax in supervising its personnel? Is that what you're suggesting? Lady Moses bade us hold our tongues for this very reason. She knew full well Mentor's intention would be misunderstood in precisely such a manner. What part of this have I misunderstood? Did you not just disclose that the man deserted his post without authorization? That's the thing. He wasn't just wandering around. He was outside all alone, taking down the ring auto-mannequins who'd locked down the elevator that leads into the LCE department. Yeah, it's not like he was dealing with the strongest enemy out there. But the recovery ward didn't have an emergency alarm, and nobody from the department was there to warn him either. He somehow just caught on and did the job himself. Huh. Heard it's all thanks to him that the facilities team managed to get the comms back up and contact the LCE chief dude way faster. And that helped the LCA to actually deploy. They would have been delayed for another hour or two if he hadn't stepped in, apparently. And he went fighting even though he wasn't fully recovered, so he came back looking like he'd been processed through a meat grinder. So yeah, he'd end up staying in bed like a good patient in a lot of pain. Then the soldier is not entirely deserving of reproach. Nope, he's a less talky, more dewy type, I guess. Anyway, we were all stuck inside the building back then during the incident, so fine. I suppose there was no helping it today, though. Never mind. It's always like this with him. He always slips away and pops back in saying, "It's done." My point is, what happens if one day one of those solo missions doesn't go his way and he just drops dead in the street somewhere? How are we supposed to help him then? Actually, how does he even know what's supposed to be done in the first place when nobody gave him any instructions? Bloke's gotta be relying on his gut feeling, innit? Gut feeling? Look, I only know... Why am I going into that? Look, I only know the bloke for a bit, so I can't say I've got him all figured out. He's an annoying bastard, but he didn't strike me as some clueless sod who doesn't know where he's stepping. Heathcliff scratched at his chin and kept talking as though he was stating an obvious fact. Today's proof enough. He's not one of us, so Clockhead couldn't have reached him from that far and sent him to back us up. And there's no way he just happened to run into us just when we were about to get into battle, isn't it? Then. Well, could be bloke's got some stupidly sharp head on him and pieced things together. Could be that. But I've got these moments when I get that flash of gut feeling, however you want to call it. My boss man Matthew said he could hear that kind of shit too. Said I could hear them gears turning, or I think I heard rats scurrying about. They do things you couldn't make heads or tails of. Listen, there was this one time when we were expecting a life and death fight. Matthew says he can't hear them gears turning, walks into a random pub, starts throwing back drinks like he's lost his bloody mind. That does sound like someone who's lost his bloody mind. Back when I was on the ship, some sailors used to drink the barrel dry before battling whales to blunt their fears, only to stumble around on the deck and fall overboard. Yeah, and boss could knock it back like a whale. Still, the point is, getting plastered right before turf war's not what most sane people would call a good idea. Had us all cross, so we went stomping after him. And guess what? Turns out that pub was a secret hideout where the opposing syndicate was holed up. And they were crowding around the gaffer, running their mouths about how they'd kill him and put an end to the dead rabbits. That's when we came storming in and had them surrounded instead. Not a single one of them got away. We beat them bloody, every last bastard. And the boss knew we'd play out that way. Sorry, but this sounds like a barstool bragging to me. You sure that wasn't just a coincidence? I should think it was no mere chance. If you are saying as much, then surely this was but one among many such coincidences. Is that not so? Yeah. Every time Matthew pulled one of those stunts, our lot ended up growing bigger. Wouldn't have kept working so neatly if it were just a coincidence. It is likely what is often referred to as indeed an instinctive sense or experience-based precognition. More accurately, an unconscious process by which information accumulated in the subconscious is sorted and converted into sensible conclusions. There have been extremely rare cases in which Heathcliff has demonstrated the ability to arrive at coherent conclusions that surprise even first. On further analysis, it would appear that he was employing a mechanism similar to a sixth sense, as some people call it. Is that a compliment, or are you taking the piss out of me? Though my mentor does not see fit to explain each step he takes, when all has passed, I often find that no footfall of his was taken in vain. I would ask of you, grant him but a little time and wait. Keep waiting, and the shape of his intention may yet become clear. Though I confess, I have also been concerned of him of late. His recent silence is far heavier than what I noticed in the past. To wait. Don Quixote began, hesitated, then stopped herself from saying more. She only gave a quiet nod. Yeah, okay, I suppose our team leader has her own reasons for letting him be. That said, doesn't mean I'm happy about it. Let us return to the task at hand and do what we can for now. Fine. As the others quiet down, finally had room to notice the place we found ourselves in. There wasn't a single ray of light, just a deep red hue, pressing in from every side. I can't believe we've been chatting away in the dark this whole time, fellas. And the dark red lights aren't helping at all, especially with my aging eyes. Oh, are you looking for the lights? The light switch, it's right here. And right then... Don't turn on the light. I heard Massault's clipped warning, his voice coming from a corner I didn't expect to find. Massault? Where are you? Ah, there he is. That corner. Is he washing something? I am developing the film, manager. Exposure to light might ruin the entire role. Please exercise caution. So he'd been doing his own thing. That explains why he was quiet all along. Huh? Didn't think you'd know how to print photographs, pal. What's that for, anyway? You expressed the wish to have the film developed, manager. I am carrying out that instruction. I see. A photo studio first, and now a darkroom. This may be no more than a conjecture, but it would not be unreasonable to suppose that the axis of this distortion rests upon a photographer. The film's serial numbers either match those found in the photo studio or deviate by only a single digit. It is certain that this darkroom is connected to the studio in some way. The images bear a striking resemblance to these photographs I also believe that this building and that photo studio share a strong connection. Oh, where did you get these photos? I brought them from the photo studio. I cannot name the locations in the picture with certainty, yet they all appear to have been taken at various places in N-Corp's districts. Buildings, mostly. Hey, wait. I know what these are. People take pictures like these when supplying stuff to that department store. Correct. The photos must be taken by a docugrapher. Mersault chimed in, holding an odd cylindrical container in his hand this time. Gave the container a shake every now and then with a measured rhythm. Whatever he was doing seemed to be part of the process of developing the film. Film rolls are hardly affordable for the average resident of N-Corp. In most cases, taking photographs is done as part of professional duties. There are approximately 21 occupations in District 14 that utilize photography. However, only a single profession involves routinely photographing specific buildings, adhering to fixed standards that can be observed in these pictures. And these docugraphers you mentioned are the people entrusted with that job. Yes. They photograph the information to be forwarded into canned experiences. A docugrapher, how could a person of decently lucrative profession fall into distortion? Decent job maybe, but how do we know if they're a decent person? Ezra replied with a clear-cut answer after only a brief pause. What makes you say that? The photo studio we were at didn't have any dark rooms, right? No, it didn't. My team leader said there are other ways of processing film rolls, but in N-Corp, you gotta go to a dark room and develop and print them. Correct. Film rolls are usually immersed in developer solutions to be processed. Which is why photo studios have these dark rooms equipped with red safe lights right next to them. But this place, it's pretty far from that photo studio. Huh. Hey, now that you mention it. Check out these windows. They're only covered by newspapers. All messy like. If you consider how sensitive film rolls are to light, it's really super suspicious that this darkroom doesn't have any proper blackout panels. And you know films can cost a fortune in some places in the city, right? Who in their right mind would print photos in a room patched up with yesterday's newspaper? Oh. This probably isn't even a legit darkroom. Someone just hauled in bare minimum tools needed to develop a full film and threw them together in a hurry. Someone who didn't want to be seen printing photos, and people don't usually avoid scrutiny unless they're doing something not so decent. Or they're just poor. And this is like all they could afford. If that's the case, then I can see why they might have distorted. Right? Manager. Mersault came to my side quietly, still giving the strained cylinder the occasional shake. I have a request regarding your instruction to develop this role. What is it? Please ensure that the light in this room is not turned on until development is complete. Aren't we doing that? Yes. However, engaging in battle opens the door to uncontrollable variables. This is why I have judged it necessary to make a separate request. Battle? There is no need for concern. I am capable of participating in combat while maintaining the development process. Wait. Wait, can you slow down? A battle, you say? Surely there must be cause for you to believe so. At the photo studio, reinforcements arrived exactly 11 minutes and 34 seconds after NCORP's pinframe team staff were defeated. Deductions based on the events thus far made it clear that the photo studio that this dark room shared some kind of connection. Furthermore, Sinner Heathcliff, Sinner Honglu, and Singer Gregor have battled NCORP's pinframe team in this very location. I hear footsteps rushing up the staircase, approaching closer and closer. I have a feeling I know what Mersault is getting at, but I ask anyway. Meaning? The initial rinse is finished. The process is now halfway to completion of the second agitation. This indicates that 11 minutes and 30 seconds have elapsed since the start of development. A battle is imminent. Please withdraw to a safe position, Manager. Mersault, you. You should have warned us way earlier. Understood, Manager. I will follow that instruction going forward.
돌아오고 있어요. 뒤틀림에서 다시 사람의
Oh, do I have
형상으로.
enough?
살수의 방식으로는 절대 도달하지
It's not
못했을
me,
결과일
enough.
테죠.
Woohoo!
이젠 좀 알 것 같네요. S사로 떠나기 전까지 제가
제가 분명 말했죠? 뛰어봤자 벼룩이라니까요.
Neat. See where this guy fits in. Probably here. Boys bleed. Okay.
이리 나오시죠. 노비면 노비답게, 죄인이면 죄인답게. 이 오랏줄에 묶이시길.
just up ahead, young man. Soon, we shall find ourselves past the border of the T-Corp back streets. What? What happened to everyone else? All snared by the Chunakuns. Those vile wretches. Sir, behind you! Look behind you! Ah! Gotcha! It is well into the late hours of the night, only a few minutes after the night of the back streets has passed. The child, hot on the heels of the two residents who have chosen to use that precarious hour as cover to flee S-Corp, threw a heavy lasso at one of them. The lasso was made from ropes called Ora, or scarlet bonds. The fugitive fell to the ground helpless and was soon dragged before the child. No! Forget about me and flee! Go! The fugitive shouted and in a desperate attempt to at least get the boy out of there, but the child was a Chunakon, and Chunakuns never hunt alone. Unlike the royal censors who act under royal decree, Chunakuns are fixers, each serving their, I want to say Kuno. From like Disco Elysium. Kunos are fixers. Each serving their own interest. And when the hunt begins, they form packs with those among their ranks to stand to gain from the same pursuit. Can I trust you to handle the kid? Of course. I thought we had lost you in the maze of alleys. I commend your tenacity for what it's worth. I hate to break it to you, but these parts are a common escape route for you fugitives. So thanks to you, I can navigate these entire networks of alleys with my eyes closed. And you're proud of that. Proud? No. It's got nothing to do with pride. I have just been here enough times that I know it's like the back of my hand. Those seeking a way out of S-Corp didn't have that many options, but which made their routes rather unpredictable. They would often make for the borders between districts where their hunters know they are likely to turn up. In the cover, dark alleyways, the narrow spaces between collapsed walls, and within abandoned homes where those with nowhere else to hide go find what little refuge they are afforded. There was no mistaking it. The fugitives fleeing the homeland already knew that they were the places the Chunokun were keen to look. But it wasn't like they had any alternatives. There weren't any other places to go anyway. I have already given any hope of seeing S-Corp change for the better. I've given up. I no longer care about its current state of affairs. All we want is to put this place behind us and never look back, yet you still pursue us with such doggedness. Why? Because it pays to bring you in. And who knows? Maybe I'll have land a big fish and climb my way up the ladder. There's something I've been wondering for a while, actually. why does your kind flee? Do you actually expect something to change? There's nothing for you in the other districts. You think your life will improve once you make it to a different ring? The wings are the same. There's nothing you penniless, powerless people can do to better your lives. Dash and struggle from within. Flee to a different wing without, but nothing will change. Why do they flee, knowing the risk to their lives? What could possibly be motivating them? The child failed to understand the drive behind their desperation to flee, and he never will. You think we're fleeing in search of warmth and safety, in search of home, nay, in search of anything. Wrong. We've grown too weary to hope, too spent to expect even the faintest turn towards better days. We only seek to be free of this hell, free of this awful hell that will relieve us of our families, our neighbors, and eventually our lives. Be careful what you wish for, because you might find an even worse hell at the end of your journey. That may be so. A life more horrid than this may indeed await us, but to us, who wish for nothing save liberty, the uncertainty of tomorrow is a peril we would take with willing hearts. Somewhat unhappy with the resident's cryptic reply, the child stopped chatting with the captured Nobi, and the captive too fell quiet, eyes turned toward the direction where the Nobi boy had fled. And after an indeterminate amount of time spent in silence, the other Chunokun returned. But instead of welcoming his return, the child responded with the click of his tongue when he noticed that his pair came back empty-handed, evidently having lost the boy. Where's the boy? Got stopped by some new upstart syndicate. Said I was to cop off a toll if I wanted to get past them. That can't be helped, I guess. We're running a business after all. No need to incur unnecessary expenses. As they were preparing to return the Nobis, the child noticed something that soured his mood. It was the look on the captured Nobi's face, a smile. The child frowned, puzzled by the fugitive's strange cheer. Surely he knew that his treatment would only grow harsher once he was dragged back. What could he possibly be smirking about? Curious, the child tugged on the scarlet bond tied to the fugitive and asked, "That boy that got away, he's just a stranger to you, isn't he? He's not even your kin. You do know they're going to punish you once you're taken back, right? For all that effort, all you managed was to help one other person escape. So tell me, whatever are you smiling for?" The child's query was met with another quiet smile. What that smile carry, this child would never understand. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Guess I don't need that. Hmm. Okay. After the battle, something sits ill with me. Amid the sprawl of S-Corp's back streets, distorted with the flash, Angdu had her gaze fixed somewhere high overhead. At the end of her gaze, it was red. Those photographs? A long line stretch across the open air. Photographs hanging from it like laundry clipped to a clothesline. I mistook it for a kumjul at first and gave it little attention. Don't know what that is. Yet, upon closer look, I saw those pictures hanging from the line. Perhaps they have been strung within the darkroom and remained thus when the distortion took hold. Bizarre. Observation of unaffected elements in the space occupied by a location type distortion is most irregular. Indeed, the items we bought from the studio have already changed into images of various insight of S-Corp, yet these alone remain as they were. Let's take them down and check them for ourselves. Just as I was wondering if the line was perhaps too high for me to reach, Rassault stepped forward and plucked a few photos off of it. And the instant he brought them to me, we heard another pop, and again a bright white flash blinded my vision for a moment. Good grief. These distortions like to change its mind, huh? Keep switching between Mess Corp and N Corp. This feels like getting caught in a flashbang detonation. My whole body tenses up and goes slack right after. The other sinners were busy grumbling about the distortion and sudden jumps, except for Massault, who stood right in front of me with the photo still held out in his hand. Oh, you didn't drop them? No. He gave his usual short answer, and then returned his attention to the cylinder he had just been shaking. He took the film out of the container and flicked the liquid off with clean, controlled motions. Is the processing finally done? Wait, we're back here with the lights on now. Is it okay to take the film out? Yes. Exposure to light will not damage the film once development is complete. And the image is fixed. There is no cause for concern. That's a relief. I couldn't say I followed all the technical details, but no cause for concern was all I needed to hear. Sighing in relief, I held up the photograph so I could take a proper look. So, see anything odd in there, Manager Bud? There are people in them. The people in the photographs all look different from one another. If I had to pick one similarity between them, though, they all looked cold and indifferent. Yeah, that's the city, alright. Ordinary folks you'd see anywhere. These aren't like the photos we picked up at the studio earlier. Are these kinds of photographs they used to make canned experiences? What was that? The scenery around us seemed to ripple just now. I was about to ask Faust if she'd also felt the strange sensation, but it faded away soon enough. Perhaps it's nothing serious. Maybe it was just a spell of random vertigo. Is it even possible to get dizzy when I've got a clock for a head? No. Massault must have noticed I was out of sorts for a moment, because he seemed to pause on purpose before answering my question. No? I thought you said docugraphers take these photos to put into canned experiences. Raw ingredients for canned experiences are handled exclusively by the Grand Magazine Sisyphe. There is no known method for external parties to access them. Sisyphe, what? Oh, I think I've heard of it. Canned experiences, right? They're in high demand in other districts too, but the only brand stamped on them is Grand Magazine Sisyphe. Same name every time. I remember some of my classmates bragging about trying them whenever exam weeks came around. Never had one myself, so I can't really explain it, but something about them just feels kind of wrong. It's that popular, huh? The unprocessed base content of canned experience, known as Experience Better, is supplied to reprocessing factories where docugraphers fine-tune the experience's details. Photographs are primarily used for that purpose. They can fine-tune experiences. An easier example for understanding would be to consider why docugraphers take pictures of subjects such as buildings. A purchaser may wish to experience living in a luxurious building that they could never afford. Another may wish to vent out impulses of violence by experiencing the burning of an expensive property. Demand for haute couture canned experience is increasing by the day. So that's why the photos from earlier were all fancy buildings. Yes, manager. Conversely, information concerning ordinary experience can be easily encountered in reality is in low demand. Then why photograph these residents at all? Perhaps these were not images harvested for their commodity value, but pure photography in and of itself. Mayhaps they have been captured for a desire to seize an vanishing instant through a lens. There are people who take photographies knowing it would cost an exorbitant sum. I have seen some before. Staggering amount of money just to take a single photo. That is, if they could even manage to find a photographer who would take the risk and help take the picture. I'm not so crass as to put a price on sentiment and nostalgia, but spending this much money on film rolls, what could have made this investment worth it? I'd say maybe this isn't a matter of sentiment or memories even. Leafing through the photographs, I quietly expressed my thoughts. Executive manager? I'm not exactly an authority on distortions, but I know they manifest through desires or emotions that become warped in bizarre ways. Everything the distortion has shown us so far points back to S-Corp. That is, the S-Corp from the past that only Kim and Ungdu would have seen and remembered. These photos, though, are completely untouched by the distortion. Doesn't that feel off? There must have been a strong fixation at play here, strong enough to slip past even a distortion. And if that obsession is something that refuses to let these memories be influenced, I think next step should be to look for the people in these photos. These photographs are only undistorted, unaltered clues we have. Dante says it would be advisable to locate the people shown in these photographs. Oh, good idea. Team leader did say we should accept input from the LCB with open arms. Hey, Angdu, can you give me that, the office catalog? We'll probably need to commission an office affiliated with 7 Association. Let's look for one that can take the request right away. Maybe make them have actual good IDs. He said that. Can someone tell Ezra we're fine? Think I know where to find those people. Dante says one of the people shown in the photos has already been found. What? When? How? Well, I guess I'm just a distortion detective. Well, I guess I'm having a lucky day. I pulled the radio from my waist and switched it on without answering Ezra's question. DWRC. I think she said to we regroup clock. That one was especially hard to understand, Ryoshu. Heh. Oh, I guess B. Heh. Roja's with you, right? Can you put her on? Okay. Roja, you there? Eh? What? Dante wants to talk. One sec. I kinda went overboard with the bread and pastries. My hands are completely full over here. No, let's be. Why is it always so deep? I kind of went overboard with the pastries and my hands are completely full over here. Pastries? What kind? Just one of everything. Neat. Can you grab extra brioche and baguettes for me too? Love the ones from that street. They're so good. Hold on. I got to readjust the pile if I want. Just throw them on TF. They're packaged. Ryosha, you can't treat food like that, okay? Bakers have feelings too, you know. How do you think the baker would feel if they knew someone was treating their precious babies like trash? This scabbard is rattling again for no reason. Anyways, Dante, can you give me a sec? If you need me to fight, just need to cram this into my pockets real quick. No, it's not a fight. Huh? Then what's this about? I took a closer look at the words written on the wicker basket in the first photo Mersault had brought me. Where's that bakery you're at? Your mom's house. Ah, I know who you're looking for. The owner of the bakery was a woman holding the same wicker basket as the one in the photograph. She took one glance at the picture I held up for her and gave a quick nod. This man, he works in Cannery 7 right next. He's a regular. He used to drop by every morning to buy sandwiches to share with his co-workers. Haven't seen him around lately, though. And those co-workers, I assume they were wearing the same uniform. Asking the question on my behalf, Otis showed the baker another photograph. Probably. He was always wearing one too. I'd guess it's the cannery uniform. This confirms our lead. Executive manager. A few inquiries at that cannery should bring us to the information we need. Yeah, you're right, bud. It's just that she doesn't seem very concerned at all. She's one of the people in the photos that weren't affected by the distortion, right? Thought she'd be a close acquaintance. Allow me to verify, Executive Manager. Do you know the names of this regular you spoke of? His name? Am I supposed to know that? Though I wasn't expecting her to actually know his name, the apathy evident in her voice gave me a pause. He took a photo of you. Wouldn't it be reasonable to assume that you're well acquainted with him? That. The baker's demeanor changed when Otis pressed the point. She gave a strange, unsettly smile before pulling something from her apron pocket. And a thin, round, can-like object. He said he'd give me 5 of these canned experiences for free if I let him take my picture. He even said he'd throw in the docograph of the building of my choice. He docugraphs buildings, right? I hear he even takes work trips to the nest every now and then. So I asked him to get me a docograph of this lovely mansion I saw by the nest suburbs. I know I'll never get to afford this beautiful place like that, but this way I could at least experience what it's like, and gosh, it was everything I'd ever hoped for. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but there was a distinct eeriness to that blissful, dreamy, blissful smile on the baker's face that sent a chill down my spine. Young Masalt, are these canned experiences truly possessed of such marvels? To pluck all semblance of reason from one's countenance, they maintain high demand across the city. District 14 is only one of several markets. Does that thou mean that those who indulge in canned experiences may experience venturing on an expedition to the Great Lake and bungee jumping off the summit of that skyscraper yonder as they remain seated where they are? They may, however. Oh, a magic can allow one to pursue any dream the heart may conceive. Verily, I confess mine own soul is much tempted. It differs from pursuing a dream. Mass-produced can experiences are made from base experience matter mixed with various modified information. The resulting product enables intense stimulation through altered memory. Therefore, it is unlikely the dream as expressed by Don Quixote, a piece of memory refined along the numerous processing stages of the cannery's production lines is not equivalent to genuine experience, meaning the usage of experience in her previous statement must also be amended. Memory is altered for intense simulation. That does sound quite shady. How doth this cast a shade upon the boons granted by the can? Adventures and tales are forsooth inclined towards a little grandeur. It is because the memories provided by canned experiences are extremely vivid. Statistics have shown that users of cans interpret them as authentic experiences and become dependent on them. A possible cause of the formation of dependence patterns is that canned experiences allow one to feel as if one has achieved a dream that is in reality impossible. Art thou implying that the users are made content with devouring forged dreams stored in instant use cans? Worse still, the user may no longer strive to chase dreams in the waking world. For the sweeter and more splendidly a dream is embellished, the more impossible it will appear to be grasped with one's own hands. To become a cause for surrender. Instead of inciting one to march forth, verily, doth it not annul the significance of dreaming itself, if the resultant dream rouseth not the spirit to gallop on towards it? Whether that he knows its significance, I cannot know. But they sell well. So, how much will you be buying? Buy what? You came barging in with all these questions, and I was patient enough to answer them politely. Don't you think you owe me a sale or two? You're not about to leave without buying a single loaf after crowding my bakery and scaring up my customers, are you? Her case was on point, actually. With our whole group gathered around, the passerby gave us a wide berth and hurried on, whispering among themselves. Nobody was about to come in and buy bread like that. Come on! Come on, lady! I practically cleared your shelf already, didn't I? Come on, lady. I practically cleared your shelf, didn't I? You did? Where the hell are you keeping all that, then? Do you even have to ask? Of course, I have some already, and the rest is safely tucked in my coat pockets, so we can all share later. So you already ate some. Let's buy a little more. It's true we scared off the other customers. Understood. Given that the expense is made to facilitate this operation, the lack of prior budgeting should not pose a problem. Oh, nice. Sesame rice bun for me, please. It was Kim. He really did have a knack for making an entrance at the least expected moments. Hey, mister, where have you been all this time? Wait. Be cross with me all you like, but give me a moment. Ezra paused and waiting in puzzled anticipation. Only for Kim to take a sesame rice bun from the baker's hand and chomp into it. Alright, I'm ready. Frickin' waste of bread. Gah! Ezra's angry fist drove straight into Kim's solar plexus, folding him into the ground like a crumpled sack of potatoes as he rolled away. At this rate, the owner might start charging us for the whole bakery next, roof and all. Best get away from here. Manager. Miss Salt approached me as we walked down the street, with Ezra and Kim still squabbling behind us. He was holding a roll of something brown and tightly coiled. I have completed development of the film as per your instruction. Oh. So this is the film in that canister you were shaking. Do I just unroll it? Hold it up against the sun or other sources of light. It is a reversal film. The images should be visible as they were photographed. I had no idea what reversal film meant, but I did, as he said, and unrolled the film. Okay, I can see it. Huh, that's pretty cool. Oh, is it showing? Can I see too? Move over a bit. Let me look too. It was hard to make out the details because the images were too small. But I could tell the strip was packed with almost identical pictures. Oh, it's like actual film, like movie film. Is this the same person in every shot? In the same pose? In all of them? Sim. Huh. You're right. No, wait a second. See, I'm here. The further along the strip you go, it's fucking movie film. Yeah, and it's fucking movie film. We were all squinting up in the tiny frames in the film when Sinclair suddenly flinched and went stiff. He'd seen something he shouldn't have. A second later, all color drained out of his face. Sinclair, what's the matter? This reminds me of something I learned in school. You draw a picture and it's just going off the stack. Now he's describing animation. You'll start with the arms down, then you make one small change on each page, nudge the arms up higher and higher until raised up all the way up. And then you flipped pages fast enough. Why is this making scary music? That class was called Introduction to Motion Pictures. I remember the teacher saying that video footage we watch are all made the same way. Are you saying that this is... The arrangement of the frame suggests that this film strip is highly likely to constitute footage of violation of NCOP's taboo. Dang. Film majors are banned from NCorp, I see. Okay.
눈 멀지 않게 조심하도록.
Oh crap. As soon as I registered Misolt's words, my hand reflexively threw the film to the ground. Are we gonna be okay? We might have just broken a taboo. Mine began to race rapidly, traveling through our journey, specifically to the time when Don Quixote had smashed that window at K-Corp and caused the wing to wipe out our team multiple times over. I felt faint. At least we had Virgilius with us then. And it ended up being not that big of a deal at the end of the day since I could revive the sinners, but some nest taboos can get us in serious trouble just for carrying anything that has to do with them, can't they? I hurriedly turned towards the sinners, many of whom looked every bit as troubled as I felt. Still, a few of them expressed a lack of concern, citing all the crazy things we've gone through so far. Miss Faust, what will happen to us if this gets the manager killed? Okay, so this is it, huh? Stop freaking out, guys. They're not dying and we'll be fine. NCorp's not gonna kill you on the spot just for possessing a film roll. Really? Well, it might be a problem if the film roll does contain genuine recorded footage, but it's not like you guys had a hand in filming it, right? When NCorp dudes get here to pick it up, just comply with their commands, thank them for their service, and nicely hand it over to the authorities, and everything should be a-okay. So, there is a possibility that everything will not be okay. Huh? Because I have developed the contents of that film roll in that dark room. Oh. The court will take the lack of intentionality into consideration, but however, it is likely that my actions will be deemed as aiding the primary violator of that taboo. Really? But... Team leader said that NCorp has their own regulation standards regarding image quality, which they could use to determine the severity of taboo violation. If the footage image quality or frame rate is within regulations, NCorp won't be sicking their fixers on our butts right away, and that could buy us some time and give our company some leverage to make a deal, however small it may be. Because what they're really sniffing around for is how close to reality the video is, or how close of an experience it provides to real life. So even if we're really unlucky and they actually come after us, it's gonna be fine as long as the footage is low fidelity, probably. So why don't you just destroy it? It's on the ground, just beat it up. Means that the interval between each frame shouldn't be like super brief. Think about photo slideshows. They can only show you one image every few seconds, so it doesn't feel real or vivid, right? Technically call them motion pictures, but there's no vividness required to violate their taboo. Then let us analyze this film roll and see how vivid it really is. Miss Holt, I trust that you are knowledgeable in subjects concerning NCorp, yes? Cooperate. Could this film roll be considered a violation of the taboo? Otis picked up the film roll from the ground and showed it to Mersault. It cannot be determined unless each frame is thoroughly analyzed and compared with adjacent. Without waiting for Mersault to finish, Otis unrolled the film and raised it against the sky. Just a view. Just destroy it. Just destroy it. I don't get it. See here. The expression risen on the subject's visage appears rather stiff. Maybe they're just a gloomy sort. Perhaps. Yet, observed closer, the stiffness arises not from gloom, but the strain to maintain it. Well, if that's the case... That's a pretty convincing theory, but I'm not sure if that's enough to conclude that we're in the clear just yet. That's when Bamboo Headed Kim, who had been sprawled on the ground ever since Ezra punched him, stepped in the conversation. Let's see. Look at the shadow cast on the windowsill. See how it's noticeably shifts between each flame. whoever made this knows their craft for sure, but I can't imagine a backstreet dweller would have any way to mess with the sun's trajectory. Then the likely creator of this film deliberately made its subject move very slowly from frame to frame, creating a sense of disconnected photos that, when played sequentially, would look like footage that violates the taboo. In which case, this film does not violate the nest taboo, correct? That is highly probable. So he says, executive manager, we should be in the clear for now. At least in regards to aiding the violation of a wings taboo. Phew. But if he was willing to go through this much trouble to test End Corp's patients, it's hard to believe that he'd have stopped here. Based on all available evidence, executive manager, it seems reasonable to conclude that the inflection point of this case is a taboo violator on the run. Huh? But what motive would they have to do that? Sure, working for a wing subsidiary, there's nothing on being an actual wing employee, but it's still pretty up there when it comes to careers available in the back streets. Work for a subsidiary long enough, and you might get transferred to a factory job in the nest. That gives you a pretty okay chance at a better life, so... Maybe he was just tired of living that kind of life. Everyone has one of those days, don't they? Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. Sudden feeling that you could be doing more than live the rest of your life in 9 to 5 hell. Try to do something that takes away the pressure of trying to make a life. Something about what Ishmael had said must have tickled bamboo-hatted Kim, because he suddenly whipped around towards her and shook his head. Maybe. But how many people of those people do you think are capable of throwing away everything they've built on a whim? From what I've seen, maybe our culprit is just like to play with fire. Play with fire? Yeah. Must have started doing something that technically doesn't count as a taboo, and inched on and on until he brushed thrillingly close to one. One thrilling shot through this camera and another with the next, till eventually he ended up recording actual footage. Cool. And then that leaves the question of what the heck was he trying to do with that? Might have been trying to screen it using a projector for all this part of the backstreet to see. What? But wouldn't that make everyone here, even those who unwittingly came across the protection? Right on. It made those folks violators of the taboo. But why would anyone? So, would you care to explain how you know that, Mr. Breadbrain? I asked around the opposite street. Apparently, some guy's been going around asking the workshops if they could make him a projector. Seemed like most of them turned him down, but they also said he stopped showing up after a certain point. Fair to guess that he got his hands on a projector somehow. Alas. Is it not a taboo of NCorp to view recorded videos? Pray tell, why would any insane mind? Well, it ain't taboo if you only made a projector, innit? back streets, blokes are down for anything as long as there's coin. Huh. How do we track this guy down? Multiple individuals in the same garb as the pin frame team has just been identified in the vicinity. They're all carrying the same briefcase. Oh, well, isn't that convenient? Isn't that convenient? Maybe we can play this like a festival or a convention and just tell people who look like they're involved with what we're looking for, so they'll lead us to wherever we need to go. Indeed. At architecture conventions, there would be most informal plaid shirts and suspenders milling about, and I could always trust them to lead me to the convention venue. Aha. And was it common for those plaid shirt fellows to look around like they're scanning the area? Do they also go around checking people against photographs? Kyle, yes, please advise for. They also radio each other, glaring at people like they're glaring at Perhaps you could answer that series of queries yourself. Nope, this crowd sure don't look like they're gonna let us follow them.
도시에선 저런 형태로 사람을 강화하기도 하나 봐.
망설임이 없도록.
효율적인 대처로 개체를 꿰뚫었습니다. 참고로 기계는 입에 발린 말 따위 쉽게 하지 않아요.
Just focus on these goopers.
망설임이 없도록.
육청
무타퍼를 이제야 좀 이해했군.
보시다시피 앞에 무방비해진 개체가 있네요. 부디 그래선 안 되겠지만 이 틈을 놓친다면 관리자님의 역량에 대한 계산을 재검토해야 할지도 모르겠군요.
죄를 새겨주겠어.
이번엔 페어내죠. 매뉴얼을 만들어두길 잘했네. 그렇게만
목이 피었잖아.
징계팀 직원이라면 당연한 판단이긴 해. 잘했다는 칭찬은 생략하는 게 좋겠지?
これが必要な戦いであれば。
발검 차단.
재밌네. 난 너희가 좀 더 어설플 거라고 생각했거든.
다음번에는 뵐 수 있겠죠?
자세에 틀림은 없군.
죄를 새겨주겠어. 뼈를 깎는다.
모두가 말한 대로 방어적인 대응은 확실히 전면전보다 피해는 적고. 하지만 이래서야 환상체에게도 지나치게 친절한 대응 아닌가?
된다면 사활을 건
귀와 요격 함수 정리노아
サンタさんの作戦とても効果的でした。
예측대로 쓰러졌고.
흉터의 결과요.
구, 언, 올. 하지만 슬슬 물리는군. 근처에 융수염이라는 군, 거를 파는 곳 있나?
승부수가 먹혀들었군. 판세는 완벽히 우리에게 있었다. 정착지를 찾을 때까지 이 기세를 잃지 않기를.
It's their time.
앵두야, 이건 또 다 뭐냐?
보시다시피 일입니다. 우두께서 그동안 놀고 먹으며 테레비만 보았으니
그러니까 S사 주변 정세를 알아보려 두문불출한 것이라고 분명. 에, 아니다. 그래, 일이나 가르쳐 주렴.
일단 바닥 말고 의자에 앉으십시오.
That's it.